It's 2022. New year, new me. Not really. But there's going to be new movies, so let's talk about it. What is up, Flick fans? Welcome back to my channel. The best time of the year, the time where we reflect on what was great, and we look forward to what is to come, and 2022 is looking stacked, at least the films that I've seen that are a part of this list. And there were so many. I have countless honorable mentions, but obviously, I probably don't know everything coming out, so if there's a movie that I don't talk about or don't mention, let me know down below, because we're talking my personal most anticipated movies of 2022. It is, it's going to be crazy. And y'all know I love my comic books and my blockbusters, but there's some great directors returning to bring us some epic, smaller budgeted films in 2022. So we're going to try to have a nice balance on this list. Again, I need your lists down below. How do they differ from mine? And could you predict what was going to be number one? Because you probably can. On the bright side, it's not Dune again because it didn't get delayed for a 40th time. So what are the films that I'm still really looking forward to but couldn't quite crack the top 10? Those include Jurassic World Dominion. Didn't love the last film, but I think they're setting up for something epic here. Scream. Listen, I think the trailer is interesting. Love the directors. Hope they bring a nice fresh spin to it. Top Gun Maverick, a movie that has been delayed a couple of times. And even though I'm like, okay, could it be great? I hope it's going to be great. The Way of the Wind, directed by Terrence Malick. Anytime you have a Terrence Malick film, you have to be interested. The Son. Florian Zeller brought us The Father, my favorite movie of that year. And now we have The Son with Hugh Jackman and Laura Dern. So definitely looking forward to that. Yorgos Lanthimos returns with Emma Stone, Willem Dafoe, Rami Youssef, and Mark Ruffalo. It's called Poor Things. You have to put this on your list if you're a fan of this director. Black Adam. We've heard The Rock. The hierarchy of power is about to change in the DC universe. That's going to be in Black Adam. I hope it changes. The Whale. Oh my gosh. Listen to this. Brendan Fraser. Darren Aronofsky. If you don't know what this movie's about, look it up. Tell me it doesn't sound crazy. It could be terrible, but it could also be really interesting. The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. The most Nicolas Cage sounding movie Nicolas Cage has ever Nicolas Caged. It has to be on this list. Knives Out 2. Love the first one. The cast is stacked. I hope this second one delivers if it comes out this year. Black Panther Wakanda Forever. I am so nervous about this film because where do you go from here after Chadwick Boseman? But if anyone can do it, Ryan Coogler can. Don't Worry, Darling, directed by Olivia Wilde, starring Florence Pugh, Chris Pine, Olivia Wilde, and Harry Styles. This looks really good. It was supposed to come out last year, got delayed, definitely close to cracking my list. Love us some A24, Everything Everywhere, All at Once. Michelle Yeoh, please go watch this trailer. It looks fascinating, kind of mind-bending. I appreciate that. Disappointment Boulevard. I don't really know what this movie's about other than an intimate, decade-spanning portrait of one of the most successful entrepreneurs of all time, starring Joaquin Phoenix, directed by Ari Aster. Y'all know how much I love Ari Aster. Have to put it on my list. And finally, got really close. The Flash. Love me some DC. Little nervous about this film. They're trying to do a lot, but if they can nail it, it could end up being one of the best blockbusters of the year easily. Let's get into number 10 on my list, and that is one that I am just psyched out of my mind about. And maybe it moves up when we see a trailer. We're getting a lot of concept art. It looks fantastic. Taika Waititi brings us Thor, Love, and Thunder. And I understand why people are nervous about this movie because, okay, how are they going to do what they're doing? Bringing Natalie Portman back, trying their best to take Thor, continue to take Thor in an interesting direction. You have the Guardians, you have all of these elements that may not come together, but if anyone can do it, it's Taika Waititi. And if they pull from the comic book storyline like I hope they do, that's one of the more interesting Thor runs we've ever seen. So if you don't know kind of what they're doing, I think it's worth a Google because that story, if they take it in that emotional direction, could be fantastic. And oh yeah, let's just bring in a Christian Bale and Russell Crowe and let's just make it one of the most epic movies of the year. And if it pays off, it absolutely will be. Chris Evans is Lightyear. Also, Taika Waititi's in this movie as well. I love Pixar. I'm always looking forward to what they're doing next. And I love the originality behind their films. But to take Buzz Lightyear in this direction and give us kind of this backstory on why make a toy about this character in the first place? Well, obviously he has to be popular. How did he get popular? Well, this is showing us who that Buzz Lightyear is. And I love Tim Allen as this character, so it's going to be weird seeing Chris Evans' voice, but, obviously you have the representation of who he was on screen compared to the toy. I don't mind that, and the trailer was actually really great, and I love the fact that they're kind of making this an epic, somewhat Star Wars-y type of film. And Buzz Lightyear of Star Command. I love that movie. Nobody talks about it. It deserves to be talked about. So if they do something like that in this film, I'm going to be happy. Next up, I don't need a lot from this movie to get excited. It's directed by Jordan Peele. The cast includes Daniel Kaluuya, Keke Palmer, and Steven Yeun, and it's titled Nope. And I've heard a couple of things about the plot, but it's still just kind of like, okay, what's it going to be? But it doesn't matter. Jordan Peele's direction is what matters. Kind of what he's been able to do with his movies thus far. And while everyone didn't love Us, I think they respected the filmmaking behind it. And Get Out is still one of those films that I go back to as one of my absolute favorites of that year, and maybe even of that decade. He's such a talented filmmaker. What he does and what he says with his movies is always awesome. And this poster, it gives us kind of an idea as to the tone of the film. And that, for one, gets me excited. So Nope is yep. That was dumb. How about Mission Impossible 7? Christopher McQuarrie, Tom Cruise, the cast. You know them. We love them. And Fallout was amazing. I mean, it was absolutely spectacular. I had just the best time watching that movie, rewatching that movie, the presence of someone like Henry Cavill, but what are they going to do different this time around? The more this movie gets delayed, the more I get excited for it, the more I'm just buckling down, like, what can Christopher McQuarrie as a director do next? And what's Tom Cruise's stunt going to be? Well, we've seen some behind the scenes. It looks crazy. Whatever this movie is, however it goes, the director, the cast, and what the last movie did, I am more hyped about Mission Impossible now than I have ever been, and every movie gets better. Can we keep that trend going? I hope so. Directed by Robert Eggers, I had a lot of people asking me, Austin, can you do a reaction to this trailer? Unfortunately, I was doing family stuff, but I watched the trailer with my wife, who is just in love with Eggers' other films, and normally bringing a very specific tone to his movies. This film kind of carries that over, but takes it in a slightly new direction. The Northman looks wild. A young Viking prince embarks on a quest to avenge his father's murder, reminiscent of what The Green Knight was trying to be last year, just a very different look into a specific time period. But this cast, Alexander Skarsgård, Nicole Kidman, Anya Taylor-Joy, Ethan Hawke, Willem Dafoe, hey, speaking of The Green Knight, Ralph Ineson, I think this looks phenomenal. I thought the trailer was wild. It has that independent feel with Eggers' direction, but it could be this epic quest. Maybe too slow for some, but my God, this looks incredible. It had to be on my list. What is Babylon about? Don't really know, don't really care. All I care about is Damien Chazelle and this cast. But we have a brief summary. So set in Hollywood during the transition from silent films to talkies, focusing on a mixture of historical and fictional characters, Brad Pitt, Margot Robbie, Catherine Watterson, Samara Weaving, Tobey Maguire. I know that guy. But the name of note here is obviously Damien Chazelle. I love La La Land. I love First Man, I think more than other people. Whiplash is one of my favorite movies of all time. Check, check, check. The guy is just constantly bringing us interesting and fascinating depictions. Now, admittedly, this movie maybe doesn't sound as riveting as something like Whiplash, but you take this concept, pair it with this director and cast, I think we could get something special. I hope we get something special, and I'm hesitantly over the moon about this movie. It is so hard to put this at number 4. Like, it's killing me on the inside, but the only thing keeping this from being like number 2 or 1 is the fact that this could go off the rails crazy. It could be madness. There it is. It's Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. Regardless of my hesitations of, okay, is it going to be too much? Part of me doesn't care because I love the multiverse. I love what Loki did with the multiverse, what Spider-Man did with the multiverse. And while this won't be as nostalgic as Spider-Man, I think it could be bigger. I think it could be maybe the biggest movie that Marvel has ever done. If some of these rumors and what some of my scooper friends are saying is remotely true, This film could blow our minds as Marvel fans. And I think the real kicker for me and what gives me confidence in this movie being good is Sam Raimi. Danny Elfman, of course, but Sam Raimi behind the camera. His visual style mixed with Doctor Strange, it fits. I mean, he mentioned Doctor Strange 2004 in Spider-Man 2, and the fact that he's directing a movie now like that is phenomenal. This cast looks great, and it's the return of Wanda, so that's exciting. I said I was over the moon about Babylon. How about Killers of the Flower Moon, based off of beloved source material, directed by Martin Scorsese, Robert De Niro, Leonardo DiCaprio. Need I say any more? Well, I could, because Jesse Plemons, Brendan Fraser, John Lithgow. I mean, come on, guys. This cast is ridiculous. Scorsese, he's always bringing us something great, but kind of a different film than what we've seen from him in a while. Depicts the serial murder of members of the oil-wealthy Osage Nation in the 1920s. It's a string of brutal crimes that came to be known as the Reign of Terror. Oh my God, this could be, and the more I think about this, the more I'm like, this could be an epic directed by Martin Scorsese with a cast that just gets nominated for everything. If this film turns out in the way that we all think and hope it will, this could be one of Marty's best. And that's cinema. Ha! It always sounds like Al Pacino. It's not Martin Scorsese. But number 2, I had some people in my Spider-Man ranking saying, but Austin, it's an animated movie. Into the Spider-Verse is amazing. It's the best movie of that year. I will stand by that fact. It's all subjective, of course. But I loved it. It was phenomenal. You know, I'm a little worried that the second film won't live up to the hype of the first, but that's the case with every single sequel. It doesn't matter. I am freaking pumped about this film. To bring back that gorgeous animation, just in that teaser that we saw, I said, I'm sold. I don't need to see any more. I don't even need another trailer. Not only is Oscar Isaac coming in playing Miguel O'Hara, is Issa Rae coming in playing Jessica Drew, a.k.a. Spider-Woman, but we have the same cast. Jake Johnson, Haley Steinfeld, Shameik Moore, returning as these beloved characters and going even deeper into the Spider-Verse. That is super exciting. What are we going to do with this story now? Where do we go from here, and how do we build these characters and their relationships? And again, just in that teaser, we saw how this beautiful relationship between, I would say, the main two characters is continuing to grow, but now you're bringing in all these other aspects. What are you going to do with the animation this time? Keep it consistent, of course, but broadening our horizons on how incredible I think it's going to look. I could talk about this movie for days. Into the Spider-Verse is wonderful. Across the Spider-Verse Part 1 could be just as wonderful. When do we get part 2? Hey guys, before we get into number 1, I want to say thank you so much for joining me today, supporting my channel all of last year. If you want to continue to support it, this video, drop your thumbs up, or any video I do, and stay tuned because this isn't it. We have my most anticipated TV shows of the year coming soon, and I created a TikTok, so if you want to go follow me over there, you can. But you don't have to, but you can. But number 1, you know what it is. I know what it is. Do I even have to say it? I won't. I refuse. Commissioner Gordon. Am I too hyped? Am I too excited for this movie? Probably. Look, I love the character of Batman. As cliche as this is, he's still my favorite superhero because he's got the gadgets. He's rich. That's what Ben Affleck's Batman said. And I'm completely okay with the fact that we're getting a new iteration of this character because it's a timeless character like a James Bond. We can continue to have actors filter in and out and actors return like Michael Keaton this year. But Robert Pattinson, and I will admittedly say at first, even though he was one of my predictions for the character, I said Pattinson would be good. And then he gets cast. And I'm like, oh, but can he nail it? Can he really do what we expect him to do? And so far, so good. I think the trailers have given us, they've painted a beautiful picture of what this film could be. And if Matt Reeves delivers, as he did with Planet of the Apes, those last 2 movies are 2 of my favorites ever, then I believe this could go down as one of the greatest comic book movies of all time. Now, will it? That's another question, because I don't know. But I think it could. And rounding out the cast with Jeffrey Wright, Andy Serkis, Colin Farrell, who is unrecognizable, Zoe Kravitz, Paul Dano, who has been one of my favorites for so long. It's the perfect way to bring it home and make this movie great. I want to see Detective Batman. I want to see a gritty origin story. I want to see an angry Bruce Wayne. And again, the trailers have just they painted a picture of everything that I wanted to see as this character. So if they can nail it and somewhat translate this long Halloween storyline and give us that mystery thriller that we've never really seen in the live-action world from Batman before, and set up things to come, giving us actors as characters that maybe we don't even know about just yet, I'm so excited. I bought a Spider-Man outfit for No Way Home. Am I gonna buy a Batman outfit? Probably. My wife will kill me, but probably. And like I said, I know there are more movies. I know I've missed some things, but get me excited, guys. Give me some things in the comments that either I didn't talk about. I know we have films like Avatar 2, the new Aquaman film, even something like Turning Red. I thought that trailer was super cute, so I didn't mention those movies, but I'm looking forward to anything, and I'm willing to be surprised by anything, and that's the beauty of 2022. Like I said, most anticipated TV shows coming very soon, and I may just be doing a very special superhero-related tier list soon with a friend, so you don't want to miss that. Stay tuned to this channel. Thank you guys so much for watching, and where should I buy my Batman suit? Don't tell my wife.